नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयम् उदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
Srimad Bhagavatam Canton Chapter 9 verse 26. Purushasvabhava vihitan
पुरुष स्वभाव विहितान्
yatha varnam yatashramam
यथा वर्णं यथाश्रमम्
vairagya ragopadhivyam
वैराग्य राधापादिभ्यम्
amnato bhaya lakshanam.
आम्नातो भयलक्षणम्
Purushasvabhava vihitan
पुरुष स्वभाव विहितान्
yatha varnam yatashramam
यथा वर्णं यथाश्रमम्
vairagya ragopadhivyam
वैराग्य राघोपाधिभ्यम्
amnato bhaya lakshanan.
आम्नातो भयलक्षणम्
पुरुषस्वभाव विहितान्
पुरुष स्वभाव विहितान्
यथा वर्णं यथाश्रमम्
यथा वर्णं यथाश्रमम्
वैराग्य रागोपादिभ्याम्
वैराग्य राघोपाधिभ्यम्
आम्नातो भयलक्षणाम्
आम्नातो भयलक्षणम्.
Translation and purport by Jivan Grace Avicharna Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Synonyms: Purusha, the human being.
Purusha, the human being.
Swabhava, by his own acquired qualities.
Swabhava, by his own acquired qualities.
Vihitan, prescribed.
Vihitan, prescribed.
Yatha, according to.
Yatha, according to.
Varnam, classification of castes.
Varnam, classification of caste.
Yatha, according to.
Yatha, according to.
Ashramam, orders of life.
Ashramam, orders of life.
Vairagya, detachment.
Vairagya, detachment.
Raga, attachment.
Raga, attachment.
Upadibhyam, out of such designations.
Upadibhyam, out of such designations.
Amnatha, systematically.
Amnatha, systematically.
Ubhaya, both.
Ubhaya, both.
Lakshanan, symptoms.
Lakshanan, symptoms.
Translation, please repeat after me. At Maharaja Yudhishthira's inquiry.
At Maharaja Yudhishthira's inquiry.
Bhishma Deva first defined all the classifications of castes and orders of life.
Bhishma Deva first defined all the classifications of castes and orders of life
in terms of the individual's qualifications.
In terms of the individual's qualifications.
Then he systematically. In twofold divisions. Described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment.
described counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment.
Purport.
Purport. The conception of four castes and four orders of life as planned by the Lord himself, Bhagavad Gita 4.13, is to accelerate transcendental qualities of the individual person so that he may gradually realize his spiritual identity and thus act accordingly to get free from material bondage or conditional life. In almost all the Puranas, the subject matter is described in the same spirit, and so also in the Mahabharata, it is more elaborately described by Bhishma Deva in the Shanti Parva, beginning from the 60th chapter. The Varnashrama Dharma is prescribed for the civilized human being just to train him to successfully terminate human life. Self-realization is distinguished from the life of the lower animals engaged in eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. Bhishma Deva advised for all human beings 9 qualifications. 1. Not to become angry. 2. Not to lie. 3. To equally distribute wealth. 4. To forgive. 5. To beget children only by one's legitimate wife. 6. To be pure in mind and hygienic in body. 7. Not to be inimical toward anyone. 8. To be simple. And 9. To support servants or subordinates. One cannot be called a civilized person without acquiring the above mentioned preliminary qualities. Besides this, the Brahmanas, the intelligent men, the administrative men, the mercantile community, and the liberal class must acquire special qualities in terms of occupational duties mentioned in all the Vedic scriptures. For the intelligent man, controlling the senses is the most essential qualification. It is the basis of morality. Sex indulgence, even with a legitimate wife, must also be controlled, and thereby family control will automatically follow. An intelligent man abuses his great qualifications if he does not follow the Vedic way of life. This means he must seriously make a study of the Vedic literatures, especially of the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. For learning Vedic knowledge, one must approach a person who is 100% engaged in devotional service. He must not do things which are forbidden in the Shastras. A person cannot be a teacher if he drinks or smokes. In the modern system of education, the teacher's academic qualification is taken into consideration without evaluation of his moral life. Therefore, the result of education is misuse of high intelligence in so many ways. The Kshatriya, the member of the administrative class, is specially advised to give charity and not to accept charity in any circumstances. Modern administrators raise subscriptions for some political functions, but never give charity to the citizens in any state function. It is just the reverse in the injunctions of the Shastras. The administrative class must be well versed in the Shastras, but must not take to the profession of teachers. The administrators should never pretend to become non-violent and thereby go to hell. When Arjuna wanted to become a non-violent coward on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was severely chastised by Lord Krishna. The Lord degraded Arjuna at that time to the status of an uncivilized man for his avowed acceptance of the cult of non-violence. The administrative class must be personally trained in military education. Cowards should not be elevated to the presidential throne by dint of numerical votes only. The monarchs were all chivalrous personalities, and therefore monarchy should be maintained provided the monarch is regularly trained in the occupational duties of a king. In fighting, the king or the president should never return home without being hurt by the enemy. The so-called king of today never visits the warfield. He is very much expert in artificially encouraging the fighting strength in the hope of false national prestige. As soon as the administrative class is turned into a gang of mercantile and liberal men, the whole machinery of government becomes polluted. The Vaishyas, the members of the mercantile communities, are specially advised to protect the cows. Cow protection means increasing the milk productions, namely curd and butter. Agriculture and distribution of the foodstuff are the primary duties of the mercantile community, backed by education in Vedic knowledge and trained to give in charity. As the Kshatriyas were given charge of the protection of the citizens, Vaishyas were given the charge of the protection of animals. Animals are never meant to be killed. Killing of animals is a symptom of barbarian society. For a human being, agricultural produce, fruits, and milk are sufficient and compatible foodstuffs. The human society should give more attention to animal protection. The productive energy of the laborer is misused when he is occupied by industrial enterprises. Industry of various types cannot produce the essential needs of man, namely rice, wheat, grains, milk, fruits, and vegetables. The production of machines and machine tools increases the artificial living fashion of a class of vested interests and keeps thousands of men in starvation and unrest. This should not be the standard of civilization. The Shudra class is less intelligent and should have no independence. They are meant for rendering sincere service to the three higher sections of the society. The Shudra class can attain all comforts of life simply by rendering service to the higher classes. It is especially enjoined that a Shudra should never bank money. As soon as the Shudras accumulate wealth, it will be misused for sinful activities in wine, women, and gambling. Wine, women, and gambling indicate that the population is degraded to less than Shudra quality. The higher castes should always look after the maintenance of the Shudras, and they should provide them with old and used garments. A Shudra should not leave his master when the master is old and invalid, and the master should keep the servants satisfied in all respects. The Shudras must first of all be satisfied by sumptuous food and clothing before any sacrifice is performed. In this age, so many functions are held by spending millions, but the poor laborer is not sumptuously fed or given charity, clothing, etc. The laborers are thus dissatisfied, and so they make agitation. The Varnas are, so to speak, classifications of different occupations, and ashrama dharma is gradual progress on the path of self-realization. Both are interrelated, and one is dependent on the other. The main purpose of ashrama dharma is to awaken knowledge and detachment. The brahmachari ashrama is the training ground for the prospective candidates. In this ashrama, it is instructed that this material world is not actually the home of the living being. The conditioned souls under material bondage are prisoners of matter. And therefore, self-realization is the ultimate aim of life. The whole system of ashrama dharma is a means to detachment. One who fails to assimilate this spirit of detachment is allowed to enter into family life with the same spirit of detachment. Therefore, one one who attains detachment may at once adopt the fourth order, namely renounced, and thus live on charity only, not to accumulate wealth, but just to keep body and soul together for ultimate realization. Household life is for one who is attached, and the Vanaprastha and Sannyasa orders of life are for those who are detached from material life. The Brahmachari ashrama is specially meant for training both the attached and detached.
Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Jaya Pataka Swamin Iti Namine Namo Acharya Padaya Nitaya Kripa Pradhayine Gaurakata Tamataya Nagara Gramatarine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadhe Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hariharaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudhanam Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangulangayate Girime Kripatamam Mande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madham Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram Ayam Chatsat. So very beautiful, because in the translation it is given in a nutshell that to the inquiries of Maharaja Yudhishthira, Bhishmadeva has explained what all the different varnas and ashramas, what all their duties, and how they are divided into the varnashrama dharma according to their individual's qualification, guna karma vibhagasha. So Bhishma is in complete knowledge even in the deathbed with the full pain in the body. Then he systematically in twofold divisions described the ultimate goal of life, that is counteraction by detachment and interaction by attachment. So now people who are reading this might wonder, oh my God, what Bhishma they would have told to Yudhishthira related to the classification of castes and terms and this counteraction and detachment, interaction and attachment, etc. So in order to fulfill their quest and thirst, Srila Prabhupada has explained in the purport very nicely as what Bhishma Deva has spoken to Yudhishthira Maharaj. That is why we need the Acharya Parampara. Simply by the translation, you cannot understand. Now, but when you read the purport, you understand what actually Bhishma Deva has spoken to Yudhishthira Maharaj. That is very clear. And here, overall, to see, you know what? In the normal walk of life in a country, a person is maintaining his family and progressing towards his liberation. When he is, in order to do that, when he goes by breaking the constituent laws, then he is considered a criminal. And then he is put in jail. You see, what is happening in the jail. In the jail, also there are rules and regulations he has to follow. Very stringent law he has to follow. There also he has to work hard. It is not that in jail he can simply eat, sleep, mate, and defend. No. And then everybody would like to live in jail. But in jail, stringent law he has to follow. He has to work very hard. And, he cannot live the normal walk of life which the citizens are living outside the jail. He cannot live that life. And he will be hankering for that life. Similarly, the entire material world is the jail. And we have given up our normal walk of life, Jivera Sorupaya, Nityara Krishnadas. So when you give up the devotional service and you want to enjoy like Krishna, I want to enjoy like Krishna, why should I serve him? So when I rebelled against Krishna, then I am put in jail. And the jail is this material world. And this Varnashrama dharmas are nothing but the stringent law of the prisoner. So just by following the stringent law, the prisoner is being prepared to become a normal citizen. It will take a very long time. And then he will come out of the jail to practice normal life. Similarly, this Varnashrama dharma, ultimate goal is to only engage in the devotional service. But because we have forgotten and rebelled against the devotional service, you have to work in a different way. If you don't cry for Krishna, you will cry for something very, very thing. My father died, this happened, my car has lost, I lost my money, I lost my business, I lost my job, I'm in cancer. So you will have to cry for so many other nonsense things, okay, which are temporary if you don't cry for Krishna. Similarly, if you don't work for Krishna, which is called devotional service, out of love and affection, if you don't work for Krishna, you have to work for the person who are envious of Krishna for want of yourself. This is stringent law, material world. So, the Acharya Parampara, the doctors are coming here to awaken our Krishna consciousness. You don't need to be in jail at all. Here you have freedom. If you want to go out of jail, you can go. But in the material world, you can see the jail is like Durga. Durga, 10 direction. Durga means fort. So you are in the fort and you cannot go out of the fort. All the 10 directions are locked. Just like in the prison, all the 4 sides are gates and, walls. You cannot escape out. In the similar way, this material world is maintained by Durga, guarded by Durga, who is blocking all the 10 directions that nobody can escape from the jail. You have to rot and fear only. But then the doctor comes, just like president visits the jail or the king visits the prison, and out of his costless mercy, he may, deliver somebody from the jail punishment. Those who are very obedient, at least to the stringent law. So similarly, at least to the Varnashrama dharma, if somebody is obedient, the Lord say, okay, liberate him, let him go to Brahmajyoti or Paramatma where he wants. So this is totally a jail life, whether you follow the Varnashrama dharma or you deny it. Unless otherwise the soul is engaged in the pure unalloyed loving devotional service to Krishna under the bona fide spiritual master, he remains a prisoner only. Where it is doesn't matter, in which body it is doesn't matter, which yuga it is doesn't matter, whether you follow Varnashrama dharma or deny doesn't matter. As long as one is not engaged, that is the last statement that Bhishmadev is finally concluding, that counteraction by detachment, detach from this particular prisonary work and then get attached to Krishna. Okay, interaction by attachment. So this interaction by attachment, you must be attached to Krishna and not to the material world. So Pravritti Marga, Nivritti Marga, these two are suggested by Bhishmadeva. Here in both paths, you will be able to achieve the goal of life, which is, engage in the, without cessation, engage in the pure unalloyed loving devotional services. So otherwise, Bhishma here has explained what Prabhupada has told in the purport, that what are all the 4 varnas and dasma chaturvarnamaya srishtam guna karma vibhagas are based on the qualities and based on the activities that he has performed. He is placed under one of the 4 classes in the society, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra. And for which of the 4, what are the ashrama, like for Brahmana, you have Brahmachari, and then Grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa, and for Kshatriya, you have Brahmachari, Grihastha and Vanaprastha, and for Vaishya you have Brahmachari and Grihastha, and for Shudra you don't have any order of life. They have to simply accept one of the three above higher classes as their master and simply serve them and get satisfied. So this is the system of Varnashrama Dharma, and in each Varna, according to the qualification, they have the ashramas, and according to that qualification and activity, they must perform the rigid activities by following rules and regulations in each of the ashrama. So all these things are explained by Bhishma Dev to Yudhishthira Maharaj as a king, as a Kshatriya, what he should do. And then one can be civilized. Civilized human being means a good kaidi in the present. That is called a civilized human being. Okay, because the true civilization is the pure devotee, one who is engaged in the pure unalloyed loving devotional service of the Lord. But within the present, you cannot say the officials are the best. They are also conditioned soul only. Like that, in this material world, you cannot say the demigods are better or best. No, they are also conditioned soul only. Okay, so everybody is in prison in one sense. Okay, according to their own quality, their own activity, their own obedience. How much they have surrendered, accordingly Krishna positions them in the material world, either as a prisoner or as a prison officer, either in the material world into Varnashrama Dharma or as a demigod. So all these things are still prison life only. But when a king or the representative of the king enters the prison, he is not one amongst the officers or one amongst the prisoners. Okay, so he is coming from totally outside. Like that, the spiritual master, when they are coming from the eternal abode of Krishna, then they are coming into this prison of material world. Prison means material world. They are not here to act as one amongst us. They are even beyond the representative of king. So they are the representative of the Supreme Personality of God to awaken our consciousness, whether you are in the Varnashrama Dharma, outside Varnashrama Dharma, all that doesn't matter. If you are chanting the holy name of the Lord, you are in the Kali Yuga, then you are following your real Yuga Dharma. Your Yuga Dharma is not Varnashrama Dharma. Your Yuga Dharma is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Be engaged in 9 different types of devotional service. Learn that by accepting a bona fide spiritual master. Under his guidance, make your life attempt successful by performing all the activity as a devotional service to Krishna. Become non-envious and become compassionate. So all these things, not to become angry, not to lie, to equally distribute wealth, forgive. We get children only for the legitimate, from the legitimate way for Krishna consciousness, to be pure in mind and hygienic in body. So this is Paramo Nirmat Saranam Satam, not to be inimical to anyone. Everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. Be simple and support the servants and subordinates. Be compassionate to other classes of men in the society. So these are all, basic qualities to through which one can become a Vaishnava. So these qualities are being taught, and this is explained by Bhishma Deva to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Then you can become civilized. Once you are a devotee, you can be called civilized. Simply by, otherwise, if you are not connected to Krishna, you may be a very well-established personality in the eyes of the so-called people. You may be very popular, you may be a big leader, you may be most qualified according to their avidya education. All that doesn't matter. If you don't know Krishna, you are a fool and you are an animal, that's all. And you are a prisoner and you are under the stringent law, either in the name of Varnashrama Dharma or in the name of Vikarma and sinful activities and reactions, doesn't matter. So in any body, you have to only suffer. That is why it is called Dukkalayam Ashasurup. Can anyone say that jail is the place to live? Jail is the place of punishment. So how can you say this in this material world you can find a better life? It is not possible. This is jail. Durga, this is jail. So in the jail, you can never find a peaceful or happy life. Even if you are a jail officer, still you won't find a happy and peaceful life. So this is where Krishna is telling that this is Dukkalayam Ashashvatam. It's only sufferings and miseries are here. And we have voluntarily accepted that. Now let us reject that. And let us accept the attachment to Krishna and the loving devotional service to Krishna. So that is the whole goal of life. Whether you are in the prison or you are in the Vaikuntha, doesn't matter. Our goal is to only serve Krishna and be associated with the devotee. We live under the bona fide spiritual master. That's all. So then the life can be made very successful. You want to add anything? Okay, so thank you very much. Anybody has any realization, because it was a long purport, and you can all share your realization, one or two. Saurav, Deepu.
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so I just want to share the understanding, like Bhishma Deva has advised that 9 process, like 9 things, how to be like, what are the qualities that that needs to be adopted for a Vaishnava, like not to become angry and all these things, 9 processes, and the Varnashrama Dharma, like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and yes, like we have to follow this. We have to the Yoga Dharma that you told, that in Kali Yuga the only Yoga Dharma is the chanting of the holy name and following the 9 devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. So we have to just stick to that. Hare Krishna, sir.
Very good, very good. Conclusion is very nice. Anybody else? So the major point you can see here, that he must seriously make a study of the Vedic literature. What is that Vedic literature Prabhupada has given? That is Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, because these are all devotional service. For learning Vedic knowledge, one must approach a person, that is bona fide spiritual master, who is 10% engaged in devotional service. So this is the most important thing, conclusion of the everything, that one should accept a bona fide spiritual master, and by studying Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, one should be engaged in a pure, unalloyed, loving devotional service. This is the whole conclusion of the whole purport and whole Bhagavatam itself. Now, this must be understood from each of the purport, and in the purport itself, Prabhupada has very clearly mentioned that. So we are living in the age of Kali, and we have got a bona fide spiritual master, very most wonderful spiritual master we have got. All this our fortunate, we have got the original Bhagavad Gita as it is. We have got the original Srimad Bhagavatam through this unbroken chain of disciplic succession, and we are discussing in the satsanga. What else you want? We are worshipping Gaurnita, we are chanting, following the Yuga Dharma of chanting the holy name of the Lord 16 rounds as per the instruction of spiritual masters. And we are strictly following the 4 regulative principles, and we are worshipping Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, and we are preaching this particular cult of Srimad Bhagavatam to others wherever we get opportunity or once in a week. And then we also, now daily we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, regularly studying the scripture, that is Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita mainly. All these things we are following. Okay, this is our fortunate position, that to be situated in such a wonderful situation. This is because of only the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, and there is no other reason. Before we know this, Guru and Gauranga, we were in rotten, we were on the fry pan, we don't even know what is the full of life, what I'm supposed to do. Okay, looking at others, for example, everybody is blind, and looking at one blind, another blind follow. He cannot look at the blind, first of all. How can he follow? This is the situation. A blind cannot look another blind also. How can he follow a blind? So this is the pathetic situation that we have. So here we are very fortunate by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga that okay. So we got all the necessary thing in place. There is no any discrepancy. They have left out everything. Every day Guru Maharaj is giving association also. We can listen to his classes regularly. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, and we are reading Bhagavad Gita and applying the Bhagavad Gita in practical preaching, and then in life, and then we are chanting the holy name, following the Dharma, worshiping God. So have full faith. The process is gradual, And based on this Purushottam Shastra, we go ahead. Very nice conclusion, Deepu. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, sir. One more question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, it's written over here that not to become angry in point number 1 and not to lie. But sir, like in material affairs, sometimes we don't tend to stick to this, sir. We like for spiritual things and we lie, and sometimes we also become angry. So how to deal with that, sir?
Yeah, this is not essentially Vaishnava quality, that not to become angry, not to lie, and not to co-equally distribute wealth. All these things are for the material people. These instructions are given to common human being by Bhishmadev. We are supposed to follow Vaishnava etiquette, which is given by Srila Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Instruction. There he said how to use the angry, how to control the senses, how to distribute the wealth. Everything Rupa Goswami lived by example and is shown. How to forgive, how to control senses, beget children only for Krishna consciousness. All these things, everything is given to us by our Acharya Parampara. Okay, so we have to abide by the nectar of instruction. Yes, Santagu.
As far as the scriptures are concerned, we are not supposed to directly apply the scriptures. We are supposed to listen from Guru Maharaj, and practical guidance will be given by Guru Maharaj. Point number 1. Point number 2 is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whatever is the instructions given are practical for Kali Yuga. Now, if you see the time in which Bhishmadev was there, and Bhishmadev is not actually a spiritual master. He is a Mahajana. We have to follow in his footsteps in surrendering to Krishna, in serving Krishna, that is there. But he is advising specifically Yudhishthira Maharaj about the human activity. As Prabhu said, not Vaishnava Dharma. It is a Manushya Dharma. Because everything was collapsed at that time. War had happened. Most of the men were died. We saw that how many crores of men are died. Crores and crores of people have died. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj has come, only women, 64 crores of people died. Men, only men. Women and children are there. So now the society has to be protected. So he's giving a general principle how Yudhishthira Maharaj has to rule for the human beings. How to rule a human being is given, how they have to be, because he cannot put too many law and rules and regulations and all that, because it is not possible without.
He asked about the religious principles.
Yes. Yudhishthira Maharaj didn't ask about Atato Brahma Jignasa. So we are progressing toward ultimate goal. We are not here in the material world to be a good citizen. We are here to go back home, back to God. And also take as many people as possible back home, back to God. So these are all the general principles which are given for, here it is very clearly written, for human beings. So are you a human being? If you consider yourself a human being, then you have failed in the LKG lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Because that is what I always used to say, that LKG failed PhD teacher. So LKG lesson of Bhagavad Gita is, you're not the body, you're spirit soul. So that is the difference between the instructions which are given by Krishna to Arjuna and Bhishma to Yudhishthira. Yeah, human is one of the 64 million species of life. So every species of life will have its own dharma. Do you consider yourself as that species? I'm dog, I'm cat, I'm Indian, American, I'm African, I'm short, I'm tall, I'm black, I'm white, I'm young, I'm old. Everything is temporary. You think yourself to be young. One fine day you will be old. And you think that I'm a human being. In next life you will be some demigod or you'll be some animal. So it's a temporary identity, and if we work on the temporary identity, we will again and again be entangled only. But as a king, the king must know how to rule a common citizen who is a human being. So this is Yudhishthira Maharaj is going to be the king now. He has been in the forest all these years. He doesn't know how to generally. And then, like Bhishmadev was there for guidance for Dhritarashtra and everybody. Some ruling was going on. But now Bhishmadev also is going to depart. Dronacharya has departed. The elders are all departed, and only one blind man is alive. That Dhritarashtra alone is alive. Now, how Yudhishthira Maharaj is going to rule? So he's asking as a king, how to rule a common citizen. And a common citizen, they will cultivate grains. This is for a common citizen, advice given to a king by Bhishma Dev. So who is involved in this? Bhishma Dev is involved, Yudhishthira Maharaj is involved, and the citizens are involved. We as Vaishnavas have to stick with Krishna and Arjuna. Whom you are associating, whom you are considering yourself is very, very important. So Prabhupada said that in every life we'll have different types of body, and we are not, then if you consider yourself to be a human being, then you will consider animal to be another species and you will kill and eat. Because you consider yourself among a groupism, group politics, group selfishness. Prabhupada calls this as an extended selfishness. Once you consider yourself as a body, then you will identify yourself as a part of one particular group. Then you will consider another group as an enemy or another group as a friend. In this way, you entangle yourself by liking somebody, disliking somebody, and then considering seriously yourself as that and behaving. So Vaishnava, as Vaishnava, we have a spiritual master to practically apply. So even sometimes I feel that when somebody is asking, okay, now personal application, you are writing an essay on the personal application of how will you apply this in your personal life. Directly taking profit. So one time when I was in Bhakti Vaibhav, this question came. Like it was cow protection and agriculture. Okay, the same Bhishma Devs. I was doing Bhakti Vaibhav, all this syllabus is coming. So how will you apply this? It's how cow protection, protecting of like how doing agriculture, Vedic, all these things were there. So to directly apply Prabhupada's purport, I am not actually, I understand, get the knowledge from Prabhupada's purport, but practical application, we have live guru. A live guru is present and he is very easily teaching us how to practically apply in everyday life. So then I wrote very clearly, I didn't falsely write for getting marks. I can write, even though I was working as an IT professional. I'm working, my own family is there, they are dependent on me for finance or something. I am running my own family. I cannot go and do a cow protection and agriculture, and it is not advisable in Kali Yuga to do this also. So, I mean, as devotees, of course, it has to be done in every yuga, cow protection has to be done. And agriculture will certainly happen because everybody wants food. So even common man will be worried, government will be worried whether agriculture is happening or not. So as a devotee, we have a short life and we have to best utilize it in a very regular, simple arrangement for income. A simple arrangement for income will be arranged by our karma, and then by the blessing of Krishna, and we have to simply accept it and then simply practice Krishna consciousness. We cannot go for all this stuff. Whatever is written in the purport for Yudhishthira Maharaj is becoming a king. Now king has to know how to rule, and Krishna is not advising. Bhishma Dev is advising. Bhishma Dev has been an advisor of a king for many, many generations. So we should be very, very careful which portions are we reading, what are we reading. So Prabhupada is giving for generally for human beings. But no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication is given to us. And we'll just remember in that. Otherwise, if we go through all the purports and try to follow all who is giving advice, sometimes Hiranyakashipu also speaks about the life. So when that essay came, I very clearly wrote that it is not the duty of everybody to take it over. Everybody has to be situated in Atat Karma Pravartana. In their own occupational duty, whatever the situation arranges in Kali Yuga, we have to stick back and practice Krishna consciousness. And there are many agriculture people who are already in agriculture. If you go into Bengal villages or if you go to the hill stations, tribals, many, even in every village, there are agriculture people. And the only thing is we need to cultivate them. And they will do cow protection. They already are familiar with the cow taking care of cows. Only thing is they don't know that we should not kill it or sell it in a market where they will make it meat. So even you just use the cow dung as a fertilizer, you maintain, even if it's an old cow, you can maintain till it dies. So in this way, we can make them devotees. Already agriculture people are there. We can make them devotees. So Guru Maharaj is doing this, that instead of going and making everybody, okay, all of you start cow protection, all of you start, we are not Yudhishthira Maharaj, we are not king. First thinking yourself as a ruler and a protector itself. You are begging for mercy for your protection. That is the, Krishna is the Gopati. Anybody who considers himself as Pati will be taught a lesson that he is not a Pati. He's not the controller, he's not the protector, and he's not the provider. We are not the provider and protector of cow. In fact, cow is giving us milk. If with the horn, if the cow is attacking, or the bull is attacking, in no time will be dead. But it is very submissively walking behind us. So we should understand that there are many, many people, Vaishyas in this world. They're all in the villages. So Nagaradi Gram Morana. Not only Nagara, Krishna's name has to be spread. Nagaradi Gram. In Gram also, Krishna's name has to be spread. So when we spread Krishna consciousness in the villages, agricultural villages, automatically agriculture and go protection will be taken care. Not that everybody who studied engineer has to resign and somebody will wear saffron and become a brahmachari and they will go and do Vaishya duty and agriculture duty. How many land will you acquire? Will you snatch away land from all the agricultural people and create your own community of I am doing organic farming community? For this, did you wear saffron? You're supposed to cultivate human beings. You wore saffron for and Prabhupada movement for that purpose, not to cultivate food, organic food. So even though Yudhishthira Maharaj will be given these advices, the advice which is given by Krishna to Arjuna is the primary advice which we are taking from Bhagavad Gita. And these are all the generic advices which are given and for human beings and a normal citizen maintenance. How a citizen will be maintained. So for example, in India, so if possible, we will some of it we will follow. But actually, whatever our Guru Maharaj says, how the whole world is happening, like that we will happen. For example, to support servant and subordinates. So where we ourselves are the employee. So Kalau Shudra Sambhavaha. So maybe we can take Shudras, but there is no Vaishyas to give us gift or something like that. Here the Kshatriya is given except charity. This is a general instructions. These are not for Vaishnavas. These are given to a king by a person who gave advice to a kingly order. That is Bhishmadev. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Perfect, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So in the Sudra, how nicely it is given. The Shudra class is less intelligent and should have no independence. We are all not having independence because as soon as we finished education, we are asking where is the job, where is the job, where is the job? Do we have independence to choose? Okay, I will do this, I will do this. No. So they are meant for rendering service. Oh, ma, what is your son doing? He's in government service. He's in private service. So only service. No owner, no master. No, he is running an IT company. Oh, okay, no, he is reporting to some MNC. He is reporting to some other. In this way, we are Kalau Shudra Sambhava. So the Shudra class can attain all composed life by simply rendering service to higher classes, but there is no higher class exist. Everybody is Shudra. Then what do we do? Shudra should never bank money. As soon as Shudra accumulate wealth, it will be misused for simple activities, wine, women, and gambling. We are seeing IT company employee is getting 1 lakh rupees, he is not married, and parents are saying, no need your money, you keep your money. Then what is he goes to the pub. So what is happening in the pub? Right now, not too much in India in gambling, but in all other pubs in US have gambling also. There are different types of gambling, very nicely designed gamblings. But in India, in Bangalore, I've seen wine and women. They go to the pub and they just drink, and girls also come there. They are independent, they have money. So Shudra, women, they're all less intelligent. So we are given very limited money. With that, misuses happen. So wine, women, and gambling indicate that the population is degraded less than Shudra quality. The higher class, higher caste should always look after the maintenance of Shudras. But because there is no higher caste, Krishna himself is providing us very limited money only, so that we don't misuse. And when we have a guru, he will guide us how to use our money, how to live a life. From morning till evening, 24 hours, we know what to do. Morning, we know Mangalarti has to be done. We know Darshanarti has to be done. Then we know that all the cooking which we do is for Krishna. Then we know it has to be offered. Then we have to take that offering, and each one have to have some duty. And Brahmachari will have his own duty of going and do book distribution or preaching or arrangement for festival. And some service, deity service, something he'll be having in the temple. And a normal citizen like outside, like congregation people like us, will have some job. We will have education, school, college. Each one will go to our own task, and then we'll come in the evening, do kirtan, read some scriptures, chant if any extra rounds are remaining, or extra round you can chant, or if remaining rounds. And then we think of Krishna, read Krishna book, and go to sleep thinking of Krishna. Hear some Guru Maharaj lecture, hear some videos, and then that's it. Simple life. And we visit Dhams, Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Puri. Mainly Mayapur, second Puri, and then Vrindavan. Vrindavan once in like three days in a year, once or twice you can visit. No issues. Even once in 6 months we can go. Vrindavan. So this is a lifestyle has been dictated by Guru. One who doesn't have a Guru is a common citizen and is depending on the king. Then the king has to maintain like a shepherd is maintaining the cattle. But the overall idea of a king also is to gradually bring them into self-realization and God realization. If that is not motivated, they're motivated towards God realization and self-realization, then that kingly order is also atheistic. Then. Yeah. Right, what you say is right. Anything else? So we should not directly try to apply. Sometimes they will ask you how personal application. So we write like that for exam's sake. We will write that I will be taking care of cow. Maybe I'll sponsor some money for the cows. So of course you can sponsor. Some temples have cows. We can sponsor some money. When we go there, we give them the 100, 500 rupees. Something we give. That is different. Of course, I'll be supporting. But my occupation is like this. So the best thing is to preach in the villages. So I'll preach in the villages where, unmute.
Yes, Saurav.
Hare Krishna, no, I don't have any questions currently. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. No need of any questions. Just the realizations.
Okay. Okay. So, this paragraph regarding Varnashram, Dharma, and all. So, yes, whatever ma'am was telling was true. Like Bangalore, people get a lot of money, go to, but we have different occupation. Like our, so we, what I feel, I am just telling, like people feel identity and people feel some sort of have some sort of responsibility for a particular community and all. So, when you see soldiers, so current Indian soldiers, they have the saying that Naam, Namak, and Nishan. So they have their identity. So what I feel like that our identity in ISKCON as a devotee, so our identity is to serve Krishna and do the activities, whatever we do on a daily basis should revolve around serving our Guru Maharaj and deities and the temple. So my point was like ma'am was telling that we go to the like as Grihastha, we go to the office and then we come back, we chant our rounds. In the evening we do some kirtan. So currently we do Damodarashtakam. So that should be our that should have a sense of responsibility. Also, we should actually feel happiness, or we should feel a sense of belonging to all these activities, which I feel, and I really feel if we do that. So our daily activity should revolve around that. So this is my opinion.
Excellent. Yes, super. Very nice to hear from different people and perspective. And it's all truth, absolute truth. Yes. Who else is there? Preeti? Maybe she's not in a position to speak or something. Deepshika, Preeti, I think they are in listening mode. Okay, they are in office calls. Okay. Okay, thank you so much for sharing this, your realizations. So I'll call Prabhu. If there are no more questions or comments, we can wind up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, if there are no more questions or comments, then we can wind up now and again see you tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Hari Bol. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
हरि